just continue. Watermelon Days is, like I was saying, the Hebron Business Club sponsors Watermelon Days, and then the Lions used to have a feed. We have what we call a Boy Scout cabin. It's a rustic cabin that we, the Boy Scouts basically built, and the Lions Club took ownership of it. And so then they have a lot of other events connected with that. And then the biggest one is the Fall Festival. It's sponsored by the Lions Club. We have a parade and a lot of different extra things going on at that time. You can read through there and see what, you know, and maybe some ideas for some of you to implement too. You know, I guess I always wanted to find out what Duck Fest was, something that we maybe want to try. I don't know if we have any ducks around our place, but you know, it's something that for new ideas. And then of course you have our Santa Claus Day, which most communities do that. Then we have a free movie for all the children, and then we have a live Santa Claus. That's usually me. So the kids come and tell you what they want. And so it's a good, fun day. Busy day, but fun.
So I think we can pretty much get the picture of this, and if
right.
people want to go to these sites, you know, after on your own, then you can kind of sift through and find the things that really appeal to you. And do we have a listing of the everybody that's attended the sessions today? I was just wondering if your email is on.
My email is on one sheet.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that blue one.
Yeah,
yes.
it's
okay,
on there,
perfect.
so if anybody needs to contact me or needs information, please do so.
Yeah, okay. Now, we are sort of running behind, but I felt that this discussion was so important, there were enough questions that we should continue that and not, you know, move on just because that's what the program says. But the table discussions are now going to be about how do we think that these communities might meet these challenges. And just to quickly review, Patty said that in Bowdon, for one thing, seemed to be a bifurcation in the community of the doers versus the naysayers. So I think that would be one thing that we want to deal with. How do we get past the people who don't want to do anything? And by the same token, in some ways, the same kind of thing of the Fessenden-Bowdon rivalry, you know. So that's basically one idea, I think. There's social groups that don't seem to want to work together. The third thing she mentioned, the third challenge, was the need to promote the town together. That is, all the groups get together to do the promotion. And then finally, the last thing was aging out of the population and a certain degree of burnout, and how do we get youth involved. Okay, so that was Bowdon's challenges. And then in Hebron, we have the housing problem, expensive housing, and that's sort of a demographic problem that
right.
not everybody has. The other, probably reverse problem, but at any rate, how can they use networking to attack that issue? And then we talked again a little bit about youth involvement, getting the youth involved, and the attendant declining membership in the civic organizations. So those were the two communities. You've got the sheets there. The facilitators are at the table, and I was going to introduce each facilitator by table, but we've now gotten it so mixed up that they'll have to introduce themselves to you. And we have about maybe 15 minutes to have this table discussion. And if it seems like you're getting done before that, I don't know, turn your papers over and move on.
Put your head down.
Yeah.
What is Duck Fest now?
It starts, it's always the second weekend of October, and Friday starts with an art show, and it runs through Saturday. And that was sort of the premier thing, and it always went really good. But when the committee got too ingrown and didn't want to reach out and make it grow every year, it felt like it wasn't like it should be. So people retired from running that, took themselves off the committee, and we have a new committee, so that's going to have a different view this next year. Sure. And then Friday night has a German supper, followed by pie auction and bingo. This year, because it's a German supper, we want to add a German band or something. We don't really have a lot of room to dance in that building, but we'll see what we can do.
A lot of listeners.
hopefully.
for German music. And then the bar is across the street, and that's new, 2 years old, 3 years old, and so that really does provide a lot for the hunters. It's
Sure.
really to bring the hunters together with the townspeople.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's no special duck shoot or anything like that then?
Yeah, we do that too. That's been usually done on Sunday, but when pheasant season started, always opening on the second weekend of October, then it was like the guys didn't want to come to the trap shoot.
Oh.
They'd rather go pheasant hunting.
So you don't have a trap shoot anymore?
So we didn't have it last year. We had it for 9 years, 8 or 9 years.
I'm such an avid trap shooter. I love trap shooting.
So I'm glad you said that, because we really should check with more people. Maybe it was only the guy leading it that doesn't want to do it.
Oh, I love to trap shoot.
Even during pheasant season,
Oh,
that
no
wouldn't
matter
bother
what.
you?
No.
Okay.
I would travel for a trap shoot.
Oh, well, that would be good.
Well, see, and I trap shoot in Zaff. I trap shoot in Dickinson. We have our own trap grounds in Hebron. And I love trap shooting.
Well, I'm going to bring that up again. We always had something for the kids.
Sure.
But now we're going to have this big kids fair in the gym where the art show always used to
Oh,
be.
okay.
So we're downsizing the art show and making the kids thing bigger. And then we have a big steak night at the cafe. And then we always had entertainment on Saturday night, but now we have this big band come in for a dance. And so our entertainment was Michael Hudson Bueller last
Oh,
year.
sure. Yeah, he brings a crowd.
He did, and we're not sure who we're going to have this next year. We might have Rodney Nelson. Somebody had suggested him.
And I guess you say it's the second Saturday?
Second weekend of October, no matter
I'll
what
have to remember
year it
that,
is.
and I'll have to make a note of it. If I have to, I'll have to use your webpage.
Yeah.
And is it in there
You
too?
grabbed one of these, didn't
Yep,
you?
mhm.
Yeah.
I got one.
So, yeah, our
And I
webpage.
would, in Bowdon, I don't know, it's not that far away, but
It's, we're 100 miles, 95 miles from Bismarck,
north?
north and east, on Highway 200.
Okay. And I'll remember that, because I'll have to watch your activities and maybe
Yeah.
get trap shoot in it. Like I say, I love to trap shoot.
This is one of our new families in town, so she's going to run the art show, and he works at the meat plant. So how much wonderful than that?
Well, really, yeah,
Yeah.
they're both employed. That's great.
Well, she's not employed. She's staying home with the kids, but she
Same
has an
home.
art major. So, I mean, how many towns do you move to that they have an art show that she can work on?
Sure.
And then, I don't know, I don't think I remembered to mention that one of our good things, our strengths, is our kids in interacting.
Where did the kids go? School now?
Pheasant.
They go to Pheasant.
Pheasant and Bowdon. And so this is our Larry. Larry Crowder, our pastor's husband, bought this building, and 4 days later it fell down.
Oh, gee.
And we thought maybe he'd just sell the whole thing back to the guy or get his money back, because it fell down. But look what he did. And he got a $1,000 award in Progressive Farmer magazine for,
Oh, is that right?
for renovating a farm
Well, that's great.
building, yeah. And so, you know what? He's probably about 55, but he's working with every guy in church, and it's so neat that people gravitate towards him.
Sure.
So we got him all to join Lions.
See, and that's what we're lacking. Some fireballer that.
Yeah.
That's basically what I call those people. I mean, 'cause they're so active and they want the community to survive that they work hard to get people to join organizations. And that, I try to do that, some of that, but I guess I don't use the right approach on them or something because
It's bothering me lately. I feel like I must have burnout, but it's almost different than burnout. It's almost like I don't have the energy to, even though I want something, I won't do it because I just don't feel like I can get it done. Even asking somebody to do something, I don't know what it is that's bothering me, but I just don't even attempt it.
well, I can understand that though. They always talk about burnout. That people get sick and tired of doing this, and I guess to some extent, I'm maybe that way too. I get a lot of things done, don't get me wrong. I try to do the best I can, and if somebody calls and asks me, I'll do my utmost to get it done. But sometimes...
It's like you don't get the joy out of it. Maybe that's it.
That's probably what it is,
We were talking about that the other day. I forgot about that.
Well, I cut the
different
grass.
sense
Yeah,
from it.
I cut the grass at Fort Sauerkraut, and the Hebron Business Club, which I belonged to while I was working, but I still remain a member. I'm not a paid member, but I do volunteer work for them. And we have this Fort Sauerkraut that goes back to many years when there was supposed to have been an Indian invasion in Hebron. So they built a fort out of sod and railroad ties, and put all the kids and the ladies in there for protection, and they had a berm around it, so they could fight the Native Americans, and it never did happen, but they restored it. In fact, my wife and I were instrumental in getting it done, because they built it with sod, and then it all fell apart.
So you rebuilt it?
And so we, organized and worked hard to get the thing done. And it's a tourist attraction. People come down to see it because it's not listed on the highway as a Fort Sauerkraut. And, I cut the grass up there, but somebody has to do it, because if the grass is 4 feet high, nobody's going to go up there and look at it. So, and I'm lucky I'm on the city council. I can use the city equipment. They have a big mower, a big rotary mower. I go up there and cut the grass. It only takes me maybe an hour if I'm lucky. But they appreciate it. But who else would do it? And they'd have to pay. They had somebody cut it one time, and it cost them like $300 or $400. But that's not. They don't have the money to pay that.
I'll have you guys given a response. This is part of my wrap up, but I'm do you mind if I skip you responding to what they have
No,
to say?
fine. Whatever works. Whatever works.
It seemed to me that there was enough interest in that conversation for me to alter the format a little bit.
Okay.
That she was fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
And she, when I told her about this, I didn't really ask her to come because of that. I didn't really know what you were going to do with the website, but I just knew that she's been so instrumental in looking things from the outside. She moved here about 3 or 4 years ago, that she sees where people are not connecting, they're not networking, they're not working together, and they're not trying new things, that she is sort of the instigator. But there's a lot of people, and my age included, that are not used to using social media. So, when she did the website, we just trust her that if she's doing what catches young people's attention, and she knows what works.
it solves several of the challenges in one fell swoop.
You bet. She did an excellent job. And I know she's doing a good job for you.
So that was just sort of serendipitous in a sense. That just happened by chance in a way.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted to make sure we flew with it at the time.
So, is this how you're going to ring this up, pull this together, or?
Yeah.
One thing that I would say that
We're going to have to wrap this up in about 5 minutes. So if you want to move down the line,
I think our communities need education, and
I'll quick tell you, this is from a leadership project we did in North Dakota 20 years ago. But it's a strategic way of looking at the linkages, the networks. So here's the community, and you can think of whatever sectors you have in your community. Some have medical, some don't. We had the trailer court, for example, seemed to be a community here. So you put whatever it was in. And then simply take this sort of pizza pie piece, which would be each sector. What are the groups that are there, and who are the key contact people? So you've mapped out, exactly. You've mapped out your community. And then what I was challenging people to think about is, okay, within that sector, there might be people who have state connections, national connections, and even international connections. Just as an example, the schools could have exchange students.
Sure.
So you get some kids from Denmark to come into your school system. So that you're thinking strategically about these network linkages. So it's just a little useful device kind of thing.
Make you think.
Yeah,
I was
strategic
just
planning.
mentioning that I think all our communities need education things. Like when Horizons was doing their thing, yeah, we had it for a short amount of time, but we almost need to have ongoing people coming in and like on the capitals. I did a lesson on that one because we did that in our rural leadership class. So I brought it back to our community and I taught it, and that one person told me, well, that's the best community meeting we ever had. We learned something.
Wow.
But I haven't done it since because I'm so busy doing all the tasks that somehow we need to write into our city planning that we need time for ongoing education for all citizens and boards.
Yeah.
That is what stimulates
And
your mind.
that's what the extension service used
Right,
to
should be
provide
doing,
before
yeah.
it was decimated.
Right.
Basically.
See, we used to have that. We had that education, and I guess I'm not picking on UND or anything, but NDSU used to have a
NDSU
program.
has.
And they used to come out and give us education classes as far as community development, things like that. There was all different kinds of phases. At one time it was a long session that, it was for like a couple of
Training,
weeks long.
like training.
Yeah, training. And
I think we can get that. I think we have to go to a center. I don't know. Would this center do it out of UND? Would they come out and teach some classes?
Well, that's very interesting because I was just talking to Lana, and apparently she's going on leave next year, and so the center isn't even going to do the forum next year, which is like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's too.
Yeah.
But talk to her, and maybe she could tell you somebody else who could do it. Ask her.
Because I used to attend them all the time, and and you got so much knowledge, you were able to, connect, and that's what it took to get a lot of things done.
Right, exactly right. So, okay.
I wonder if they're doing more like when I get notes from my extension person out of the county, they're all on agriculture related stuff.
Right.
They're all on keeping up your licenses, or they're not too much on community development at all. And I wonder if they think we're getting it some other place.
That's probably what the problem is, that we have no source at all, and they think we're getting it from somebody else, and that's not happening. Because I remember going to school many a times, and just for a short session, we'd have a meeting every night, and it was I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name that was out of NDSU, and he was sort of like the extension service, and he'd come out, and in fact, his brother-in-law lived in Hebron, and that's probably how it got started, and his brother-in-law initiated it, and got it going, and, we had a lot of information available to us.
Yeah, I think it would be good.
I think so,
As
too.
I sort of see sometimes the people of Bowdon, and we didn't talk about this connections too much, but they're a little bit too ingrown. Like when the same people go to the same church their whole life, they don't start thinking or have a very open mind about things.
No.
And when you think about it, it's like every 7 days you're sort of getting ingrained with the same thing. And do you ever
I'm going to start
have a really
with which table has finished.
open discussion on something totally different?
Oh, okay.
We need some
Well, I think we're going to
stimulation.
have to run with that. So, are you going to take it?
Are they still discussing?
Okay. I'm going to just sit.
We should tell them that if they wanted one of these, they can get one from the Bowdon booth if they want one of our
okay.
newspapers. Or I can
I'll
tell
ask
them.
you each for one word, and maybe you mention that.
Do you just want me to start talking?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I guess I can share. So, our group, oh sure. Then you're gonna see all the notes on the back of my page. Our group concentrated on Bowdon because we thought that was the one that we identified with a little bit better. And as far as our external networking strategies, we thought that actually keeping up the great work on the website and continuing to improve that is really a great strategy. it seems like you're really using the perspective of the audience you want to attract, and really sort of setting a goal as to who it is you want to use the website and what they're looking for, and making sure that that's at the top. And we had the convenient privilege of having Michelle at our table. And she also confirmed that they're going to be doing some connecting with the other local websites. So there will be links to Fessenden, links to Harvey, so that it's kind of a regional website, and it's more than just their town. And an additional suggestion we had was to ask for website feedback from other local communities. So see if somebody can find some piece that you think is important, and see how fast they find it, and if that's something that needs to be improved, that'll come to the top quickly. And then for our internal networking ideas, we've heard it a couple of times today, but we really thought that partnering with the naysayers might be your best bet to deal with them. Leanne mentioned that when she's dealt with this, if somebody is a naysayer, she just lets it go and then says, gosh, you just make the best chocolate chip bars. Do you think you could bring a pan of chocolate chip bars?
Good.
And then they're accidentally involved, and then they kind of fall into line, and it works great.
I knew I needed that.
And just to keep them focused on the big picture, not on the thing that they're upset about. The other internal networking idea we had was to, and this is sort of something that will help with the aging population and the burnout, is to have a really active welcome wagon. So when a family comes to town, somebody goes and visits them, finds out what they're interested in, see if they want to do some volunteering. But beyond just welcoming them to town, really helping to make them some connections. So if they're interested in history, you connect them with the Historic Preservation Commission, or you invite them to the next event or meeting of a group, so that, and go get them and bring them along so that they can get involved, and then they can start volunteering right away. That's how we got it.
Okay, great.
Thank
Do
you.
you have a welcome wagon?
No, so that could be good.
Yes,
Sarah?
we have that, any new resident, which is good.
Okay, we actually only got to talk about a couple of different things, and you guys have covered a lot of what we had figured out over here too. The naysayers, ask them what their problem is, then how would you fix it, and come and join us and help us then. That was kind of one of the ideas we had there to deal with them. Because you're always going to have naysayers. Will you be able to turn them around? Probably not. But if you invite them and ask them for their opinion, why they're so dead set against it, you might get them back on your side. I don't know. Another thing was youth involvement. And promoting youth involvement, going to teachers in the schools and asking, are there any kids here in school who have a special thing they're interested in or a talent, and then inviting the youth to use that talent, or enticing people by asking them to use their talent to come and help you with events or whatever you're looking for. Updating the website. If you want a contact person, get a youth involved. Ask them to contact businesses, make that part of their assignment or whatever. Find out what they're interested in doing and see if you can get them involved. Another thing was the declining membership in organizations, and it was suggested a lot of small towns, we have way too many organizations. Combine the organizations. See if there's two that do similar things, put them together, or combine with another town. If the town 10 miles down the road has a Lions Club, and they only have 5 members and you have 4, why not have a joint one? Just like the schools are doing.
Sure.
Consolidate, co-op.
Makes sense.
Enticement. Everybody liked that term, enticement. I was but yeah, just enticement. I'm not sure why we like that term so much. Find people's strengths. Find out what their strengths are and ask them to help you by using their strengths to make your town better.
Thank you. We're really running behind time here, and I want to make sure that everybody's going to be going to the reception, but
I can do without the ice cream. Can you?
I might go for
I guess we have some of the same things that's already come, time to get to the third table, but I guess we're talking about connecting with the naysayers also, some kind of reaching out, maybe some kind of team approach. And then we know it's an aging society, so we thought maybe looking at some age-appropriate opportunities for people in the communities. This was one that we said there was a high median age. I guess for external networking, maybe connecting with some communities, bridging to other communities, maybe having the same issues as this community has, and then seeing if there's something that maybe you haven't tried, or maybe they've gone through the same things as you have gone through. So.
okay, thank you. And the last group?
Okay, yeah. We'll try and do this really quickly. We approached this by looking at the questions that Lana or that Janet outlined for us, but then we looked at it from the perspective of our own communities. And so in terms of, so I'm going to go through this as quickly as possible. One of the first things that was said was that sometimes older people are resistant or more resistant to change, which is obvious. And so there was a brief discussion about including youth, getting youth involved, that is from grade schools to junior highs to high school. And the way in which to do that would be to collaborate with their teachers and make sure the teachers are on board, and either working with the children directly, such that they would come to city council meetings, or that the teacher would come and then there would be specific kinds of projects and work that the children would do that would actually feed into and find solutions for the city council or the community. And so the children would actually be involved. I've been involved in that in cities like San Francisco, where incredible art projects were done on political issues by children, and it was amazing. So there's that. They also felt stressed that it was really important to know your community. That is, what is valued in your community. And someone said they'd gone next door to see the drones and that they were very hesitant about drones. And then after going there, they really were able to see that there were positives. And I said, yeah, for example, I work in human rights and I'm really concerned about drones. But now, guess what? We can actually watch genocides happen on the ground and hold people accountable. So there are positives, in ways that so keep an open mind and see as many different perspectives as you can. So when you get naysayers, see people, it's positive to see who's killing each other, right? You can hold them accountable. So, keeping your mind open and seeing as many possible views of an issue for a naysayer would be really, you could do exercises like that, take the opposite side of what you believe in and sort of have these discussions. The other thing is to get connected to what resources are actually available, and that means you have to have somebody, like you could also have a high school student or a college student for part of the research project, is to find out what federal, state, nonprofit organizations are available to help with housing or the kinds of issues that you all are facing in these small towns in terms of brain drain, death, diminishing communities. Very quickly, we kind of came up with a couple of sayings. It takes 1 or 2 people to move a city, unfortunately, which means that you really need 1 or 2 really dedicated people and the rest kind of follow, but there's really a kind of engine that runs that whole thing, and those are usually 1 or 2 or 3 people. Experience can add up to innovation. In other words, even though you have age, your experience can be something that can drive you to do something extraordinary, particularly as you get older. You're getting closer to passing on, so you want to do something that's meaningful. Be creative, be strong, and have the right networking. And finally, be a champion in your community. In terms of more traditional communities where there's kinship and family histories that are really, really strong, those kinds of things can actually lead to moving a community if you have those kinds of family relationships. So that's what we came up with.
Hey, thanks, Marcia. Just very quickly, as part of the wrap-up, I'd like to just call your attention to the handout that I put on the tables. And I got one. It's something that you can use to think about your community strategically. And I'll come back to that in a second, but I want to just summarize here. What the table groups have said really is, for one thing, ask people to help. Create partnerships where there may be none, and keep an open mind and stress thinking about new ways of doing things. Another thing that I heard was working with the schools, and even from the grade school on up, of either working directly with the kids, but probably more efficiently, asking teachers what's going on. Do they have a project in their classroom that maybe would relate to community development that the kids could get involved in, and so on. And then finally, let's see, the last thing that I heard here was, well, I guess I like these various sayings, and I'll just summarize them. Enticement, experience leading to innovation, and perhaps it takes one or two people to be the engine of the moving of the city. Now, just quickly looking at the graphic that I gave you, well, we did a program in North and South Dakota some number of years ago, and we termed it the Dakota model. And so what you see on the top diagram is that we put in the various sectors of the community. Now, here today, I heard there are other sectors. There's the elevator sector, there's the trailer court sector, there's the bar sector, the non-bar sector, whatever it happens to be, okay? This was just a group that we were working with. And then if you look at the sort of pizza pie piece there, you can think about, okay, what are all of the organizations in our community, naming them, having a contact person, contact email, and so on. And even this could be the stuff that's on your website, really, not in that model, but thinking about it that way. And then you put all the pieces together and you ask those people in those sectors to think, who do I know in this